Hi, I'm Joe Gebhardt, and I'm joined with the Department Chair of Professional Trades, Eddie Burkhead, today. How are you doing, Eddie?
I'm doing great, Joe. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for joining me today. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So, I've been at Jackson College for 10 years now, and I teach in the trades areas. So I teach everything from robotics to industrial automation to CAD design, so learning how to design things on the computer, or even getting into some different types of machining and CNC fabrication.
What makes this field that you're in really unique to what people might expect?
It's very hands-on, but it's also always changing. So I always tell people that I started learning about this field when I was about 18 years old. That's over half my life ago, and I still feel like I've just scratched the surface. So I'm constantly learning. There's always new technology coming out, and that's really something that we like to show our students, is that you can constantly grow in this area.
Yeah, it's just always changing.
Always, we've all heard about all the new technology around AI, but just even beyond that, there's always new stuff coming out to just make things more efficient, make things be programmed differently. It's a really cool field, and I just get so excited to show people what we're all about.
With this past school year wrapped up, how do you think everything went?
I think it all went really well. So we did a lot of new things in the lab and just in terms of how we're offering courses. So we tried to open up this space so we have flexible lab hours where people can sign up at their convenience to come in. So it's not just come at 2 o'clock. If you're working, you can come in the evening, you can come in the morning. We're just trying to make that more flexible, and we've had really good feedback from students who really appreciate that opportunity.
Now, speaking of the students, what are some things that you're seeing from them? Are they feeling good? Are they feeling overwhelmed?
Most of them are feeling good. In our area, we really try to make things fun, which doesn't mean that it's not challenging, because it is. This is pretty tough stuff to learn, but it's all about problem solving, and there's a lot of creativity. It's like a puzzle almost. Like when you're programming machinery, there's a lot of trying to get different things to work, and I think students have a lot of fun with that.
What are you most excited about heading into the next year?
Every year we add new curriculum. We always try to update it by talking to the different businesses in the community to see what they're doing. So as they get more advanced technology, we try to stay up to date with them. And a lot of the stuff that we're seeing now, we're moving away from like I'm just a welder or I'm just a programmer. It's now you're doing a little bit of everything, learning how to weld and machine and program and bring all that together. To me, that's like really exciting. It's a much more interesting kind of dynamic job than it was maybe 40 or 50 years ago. So it's like I really am excited to start teaching in that way. Yeah, which is kind of a new thing we're going to be doing this coming year.
Right, you're always having to try to stay on top of current trends.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any new opportunities, technologies, or experiences that students can look forward to specifically?
Yeah, so this is going to be a really technical answer. So we have more advanced programming capabilities. So a lot of our new technology is about dealing with complicated Ethernet networking. So just as your internet is connecting a lot of computers together within an industrial facility, you can build an internet in that connects all the different robots and all the different machines, because those are also run by computers, and you can get that to pull data. That's something that's been like a 5-year project for us that we have finally kind of started to wrap that up. And then on top of that, we have some new mobile robots that we're implementing that are capable of kind of mapping. It's kind of like a Roomba or a robot vacuum, but it's much more sophisticated. It has LiDAR. It can map out spaces and move materials from one location to another. And that's something that's really going to be coming pretty heavily in industry. So it's something we are excited to teach here.
What is something that students always say by the end of the first semester?
We are really fast paced. Our courses are 7 weeks, and a lot of courses at Jackson College obviously are 7 weeks, but all of ours are. You kind of go from one thing to the next, and you got to stay on top of it. And so I think they are surprised at how much they learn in such a quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And we also always hear that some of the boring courses at the beginning where you learn the basics and the theory, by the time you get to the end, it's like they want to take those courses again because now they can appreciate why that stuff is so important. So it's like it's good to have a basic understanding of electricity and the science behind it, but then after you understand how how to do everything, it's like you want to go back and get that science piece again.
Right, because it's like you're looking at it from a different perspective at that point.
Yeah, you have a much better appreciation of how things work. And I always say that I think the number one kind of driver of success in what I do is, are you naturally a curious person? Like, do you want to know how stuff works? And if that's you, the deeper you get into it, the more interesting it becomes, because you get to see how all these devices work, and there's so many complicated little details to them all. It's super interesting.
What advice would you give to someone considering the program?
If you come from a non-technical background, and I was this person growing up, I didn't
Same.
necessarily have a lot of hands-on skills when I was a kid. I didn't use a lot of tools, but I developed that over the years, and I think that's something that it's worth knowing, that like, if you have a desire to learn this stuff, it's all very learnable. It just takes practice. Compared to other fields, like, we are very practice focused. There's a lot of hand-eye coordination, there's a lot of thinking through problems and just kind of drilling different processes that we do. With that comes a real opportunity to become like an expert at something. So I would say that, to me, you know, if you've never considered the trades or manufacturing or electrical, but you are interested in how things work and are willing to put in the practice time, it's a really good field for a lot of people.
Practice makes perfect.
It does, yeah.
What can students do this summer, if anything, to prepare for the next semester?
One of the things that we see with a lot of our students, and this is just the kind of person that gets attracted to this sort of role, they do a lot of hobby projects. So again, as the world is changing, there's so much out there, you know, just tiny Arduino controllers or Raspberry Pis or 3D printing even, that it's really affordable, it's cheap, and you can develop skills and do your own projects that are really closely related to what we're doing. We just do it at a bigger scale. So a lot of people are just playing around with that because they learn, like, it's really, you kind of feel like a mad scientist, that you can kind of make anything you want. So
what do you mean by Raspberry Pis?
Okay, a Raspberry Pi and an Arduino, they're basically like tiny credit card sized computers.
Okay.
You can program them. They're a little bit different. They're both really common. You can get them both for $100 or less. You can do amazing things with them. So you can, like, I've seen people like automate their coffee machines. I've seen people, again, on the internet, there's all sorts of people that have demonstrations of like automating their curtains. It's a silly thing. Obviously, it's not a lot of work to open your curtains in the morning. There's people that are literally taking these tiny computers and having them talk to like a motor and having it talk to like their phone over the internet. Okay. And then they can like press a button, and then the phone talks to the computer, talks to the motor, and then it opens the curtains automatically. And
Gotcha.
that's the sort of skill set that, if you can do that, that's what careers in advanced manufacturing are like now. Mm-hmm. It's about things working together.
Okay. Well, that makes more sense, because you say Raspberry Pis, it's like, I've never heard that term before in that setting. So that's interesting to know.
Yeah. It's I forget what people do and don't know, but yeah, it does sound like a dessert, and I'm sure Raspberry Pi itself is delicious. I don't know if I've ever had that dessert, but it is also a tiny computer, and there's some really cool stuff that you can do with it. And there's a lot of free education on the internet, and if that's the sort of thing you like, it's a really quick way to just see if you like it, then you'd probably like our programs, and it costs very little to play around with that stuff.
If a person is interested in pursuing this field, what would you recommend to them to get the ball rolling?
I mean, the first step, at least getting started with us, is always to talk to the advisors.
Okay.
Our navigating team that supports our pathway here on campus is they're really proficient at what they do. We work with them really regularly, so we're constantly talking back and forth about the schedule and curriculum, so that they know what all of us faculty are up to. And if the student's talking to them, it's a direct pipeline to us. So we always say, like, start with them, because they really advocate for the students, and that's just a good way to get going. Beyond that, just making sure you have a basic plan of action of where you want to go.
Yeah.
So I always tell people, like, it's totally okay if your goal at the end of this is just you want a high-paying career, because we can get you there. but you want to have at least an understanding of what that career is going to look like and what it's going to take to develop in it. So doing your research ahead of time can save you a lot of headache, because you just don't want to end up in a situation where you've taken these classes and you're in a career you don't really want. So
yeah, you don't want to waste time doing that, but also it's kind of a good learning experience that way too.
Yeah.
All right, Eddie, thank you very much for joining me today.
Yeah, thank you, Joe.
You're welcome.
It was a pleasure talking to you.
It's a pleasure with you as well.
Great.
And thanks for watching.